Alright guys, in this session we'll talk about level 3 data, but before anything else, let me tell you, the best platform is Bookmap. It's actually a platform designed for MBO. Now before anything else, regarding the fact that this platform can be used for crypto and for Forex, just to add crypto, go to connection, go to configure, click add connection and select Binance Futures. Select it, click OK, go to your connection section, click Binance Futures and wait. I think since I just disconnected it, it might give me an error. So now let it take a few minutes because I just disconnected it right away. Recommended to connect Rhythmic to Bookmap. Well, let me see if this Binance Futures connection issue is resolved. Okay, now you see it's connecting. Give it a few moments. Okay, it's loaded and I already have the Bitcoin chart. But if I want to add a chart, I click this plus button, the platform. I select Binance Futures and for example, I want to add BNB. It must be margin perpetual futures. Well, you see, it's still loading for me right now, so just give it a few more seconds, okay? Alright, it added it. That's about crypto. Did you get it, my dear friends, or no? Well, now let's get into what level 3 data is, guys. Level 3 data is the same as level 2 data, but a bit more advanced. Let me open a photo here that we opened together. Look, my friend here is important part, guys. If you pay attention in the basic topics, we said there's an order book where the right side is sell passives, or the same sell limits, or the asks that have come here. On my left are the bids that have come here, and their color has turned green. Well, this is the advanced order book of this order book, okay? And level 3 data, besides having a more advanced order book, shows us other tools like trader stops or even icebergs. What is an iceberg? For example, consider an iceberg where only the top part is visible to us. This part above the water is visible to us, but what's underneath is not. Well, many people place their orders, say 10 units, and when the price reaches it, you suddenly see 1,000 orders activated there. How? This gentleman, lady, or friend had placed their orders as an iceberg. When it reached 10, 10 were activated. Then they placed 20 more, then 10 more, then 15 more, and kept reloading. Then maybe 30 more, then 10 more, constantly reloading. Why didn't they want to place a lot? Because naturally, if we saw that volume, we might have anticipated their move, okay? Have you understood so far, my dear friends? That's the definition of liquidity. That's from, excuse me, that is the order books. Now you might ask, what are these lines? Or what are these red and green lines? These greens show us the buying. The more buying, the larger the bubble. The more red, the larger the red bubble, meaning more selling, okay? It also draws a line for us here. The higher the amount of liquidity, it shows us the visualization, meaning it shows us the history of this order that was here, how much it decreased or increased when it was removed or not. Unlike a regular order book, it doesn't just show the present moment, okay? Now you might ask, why does the price want to reach the liquidity? Guys, let me explain it to you with a very simple example. Imagine the price of gold is $3,000 now. I won't say gold, let's say oil. It makes no difference. It's $3,000. Do you agree that if oil is $3,000 and someone has 100 containers, they set the price at $2,000? They say, I have 100 containers, more than all of you. We have one container, you have two containers. I have 100 containers and want to supply them at $2,000. Do you agree the price will drop until this person's containers are gone? Until this person's liquidity is exhausted, and then the next price is determined. You and I, with one container or one barrel, don't set the price. The person who has the liquidity sets the price, and what happens to the next price? For the next price, see where they place liquidity again, so the price moves toward that liquidity. Again, who says where they want to supply their oil? It goes to that section, okay? This is the main philosophy, that price moves toward liquidity. I see this mistake very often where, for instance, a friend on Instagram, even though they have, say, 1 million followers, but because unfortunately liquidity and order books don't exist in their trading vocabulary, they have a wrong definition of liquidity. I've often seen them say, for example, the price of gold or the euro dollar has dropped and reached this point where there was liquidity and the price went up because of that liquidity, and there was liquidity here. No, it's not like that at all. Guys, wherever there's liquidity, the price doesn't move. Wherever there's liquidity, the price is slow, the price is slow. Why? I'll explain it to you now. If you remember in the first part, at the beginning, we opened an order book when the market was closed. But now that the market is open, let's open an order book for the live market, for example, on the euro dollar. But of course, now isn't exactly the right time. Volumes are very low, but it doesn't hurt to take a screenshot and explain from that. Okay, if you will excuse me, let me save this, close this, and see where it's saved. Okay, a friend saved here. Let me pull this aside. See, this is an order book, okay? Now, if you notice on the right, the orders are 19, 29, 35, 39. In a normal situation on the euro dollar, for example, this is 100, above it is 200, above that, I don't know, 150, above that, say 180. In the S&P, this is say 500, this is 800, this is 300, this is, for example, but what about crypto? This is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. And wherever liquidity is higher, it makes the price move harder. And that's why in crypto, where there's no liquidity, the price shoots up and down. Why? Because if I want to move the price in euro dollar, I have to push 100 times here higher up, push 200 times higher up, push 150 times for the price to go up. In the S&P, don't even get me started. I have to push really hard to move the price up because it's 500, 800, 300, and wow. But in crypto, if I blow on it, the price goes up. If I blow on it, the price comes down. Why? Because there's no liquidity. So this definition that some friends use, saying the price came down or the price went up because there was liquidity there and the price came down, is completely wrong. Actually, there was no liquidity there, which is why the price dropped. Just like the example I gave you. Let me see if I have anything. I had opened a MetaTrader for you in the first sessions. Let me open it again. Okay, for example, here you enter not one lot, 1 million lots. If you enter aggressively, whether buy or sell, this price won't go up. This price won't go up until this is consumed, this is consumed, this is consumed, this is consumed. So when this is consumed, the price goes up one tick. This is consumed, it goes up one tick. This is consumed, it goes up one tick. So when there's liquidity, like in a market like the S&P, well, where liquidity is high, that's why the price moves up and down very little, and it's not sharp movements like crypto. Okay? Liquidity is what we see in the order book, and in crypto, because it has sharp movements, because it lacks liquidity, no one in the order book has placed liquidity. Okay? This was a very brief definition of liquidity, and I should tell you, if you see such a definition being given elsewhere, know that they are completely wrong. Because unfortunately, in their vocabulary, there's no such thing as liquidity, no such thing as an order book, and they are wrong. Guys, the order book is also independent of time, like our other tools. Guys, if I set this to, say, 5 minutes and shrink it, the order is still there. When it was removed, it was removed. If I enlarge it, go to 1 second and zoom in, you see it's almost 100th of a second, it's still there. Like our other tools, they are independent of time. So if you're working with other styles like fractal or multi-time frame, know that in this style, we don't use time like that at all, because we only work with volume, buying and selling, supply and demand, and liquidity in level 2 and level 3. Everything in the world, this mouse I'm clicking, this microphone, or your phone, or your monitor where you're watching my video, its price goes up and down with buying and selling, supply and demand, volume and liquidity. I swear to God, no price moves with Fibonacci, with Ichimoku. I laughed because I swore, with Ichimoku, with Fibonacci, with trend lines, with order blocks that they sometimes draw, saying there was an order block here, an order block there, which they themselves don't even know if this order block is valid or not. And still one says this order block is valid, another says that order block is valid. This teacher says that teacher doesn't draw their order block correctly. No, guys, we all see these volumes. We all see the buying and selling. Okay, this is what you are just beginning to learn, what the real true meaning of trading actually is. But unfortunately, it still has not really caught on in world yet. It has its own reasons. I do not want to go into those reasons here, but I think it is worth explaining one of them. When you have level 2 and level 3 data, well, the money you want to pay, you spend it on data, you spend it on level 2 and level 3 data tools. Or, if you are working with level 2 and level 3 data, you are basically forced to have a good or at least an average system. You really cannot trade with just a phone anymore. And when you find that you can't trade with your phone, you really have to spend your money on a system instead. When you do spend your money on a system, it means you simply do not have any money left to buy a course. And when you can't buy a course, well, the person selling course anywhere can't sell you a course. So in order for you not to take your money to a system and not to spend your money on a system, they say, hey, come and do ICT, come and do RTM so you don't spend your money on a system. And that $1,000 or say $100 or $200 you were going to spend on a system, you spend it on that course instead. Because as a teacher, if I introduce level 2 and level 3 data and tell you to go get 2 monitors, instead of you going to buy a monitor for say 3 or 400, well, you'll come and give your money to me. This is one of the reasons why level 2 and level 3 data hasn't caught on in world, won't catch on, and never will. I'm telling you this with full confidence, but it's better if I don't explain the other issues. And to tell you the truth, that was the summary of all the explanations we could give you about level 2 and level 3 data. We'll delve into it more in the specialized topics, where we'll chat more and cover more specialized strategies. But I also want to mention a very brief strategy. In the previous video, I told you that here on the euro dollar, we saw buying in the CVD and it had hit two bottoms, but the CVD had turned bullish. If you look at the order book, it's exactly here. No, it was that day, this day, and the price moved towards liquidity like this. If you notice here, our CVD had turned bullish and there was also volume, if you remember, and it moved towards that liquidity. So until the next sessions of the specialized course, I leave you all in God's care.